Space Marine Legion, vanguard units of assault infantry, consisting of tens of thousands, and in some cases much more, biochemically and surgically enhanced, equipped and armed to the highest standards of the Imperium. The value of each Astartes far exceeds the value of all other regular military forces by a significant margin. They are all killing machines, tireless, fast, strong, brave, disciplined, keen-eyed, and more deadly than any other ordinary soldier, regardless of their experience. Once in a coordinated formation, Space Marines become an immensely formidable force. A few hundred are capable of subduing a city within a couple of hours. Thousands can conquer worlds in a matter of days, while even bigger formations can annihilate entire species and reduce civilizations to ash in a short period of time. Legion is an organizational unit for the Space Marine, also called Legio Astartes, of the first founding, replaced the Thunder Warriors of the Legio Contagious, and represented a logical progression of the Emperor's project to create an army of super soldiers. They are more physiologically resilient, disciplined, and possess a unified system of creation and training. The first warriors of the Legiones Astartes fought in grey armor without any embellishments. Over time, the legions adopted their own marks of distinction and developed unique combat doctrines. As the Crusade progressed, the legions, through the discovery of their primarchs, gained their commanders. Primarchs usually altered the color scheme of their legion's armor and its name, while also introducing new combat doctrines. The smallest unit within a legion is the Tactical Squad, an exceptionally versatile infantry formation capable of both offensive and defensive operations. It can assault well-fortified positions, seize and hold strategic objectives, or simply annihilate enemy forces. Size of the squad could range from 10 to 20 Space Marines, and it was led by an Astartes with the Sergeant rank. Lieutenants were the most junior officers of the Legion. Their titles varied across legions, including Dominor, Decurion, Junior Captain, Adjutant, Pack Leader, or Chieftain. In some legions, numerical designation indicated seniority or a ceremonial role, thereby granting additional titles to the rank. A lieutenant commanded 3 squads, typically 2 tactical squads and 1 fire support squad, equipped with specialized weapons to counter specific threats and enemy forces on the battlefield. Operating in close coordination with the rest of the Legion's forces, tactical fire support squads provided the firepower necessary for Space Marine strike groups to act with greater versatility and engage a wider array of targets on their own terms. 9 squads formed the core of the classic Space Marine Company during the Great Crusade and the Post-Heresy. Astartes, holding the rank of captain, commanded that company at different times and especially across various legions as they discovered their primarchs. Alternative titles such as Centurion, Wolflord, Clawmaster, and others were used. Sometimes assault squads could be assigned to a company, well equipped with jump packs designed for rapid strikes. Their gear was optimized for close quarters combat and hit-and-run tactics. Jump packs enabled these squads to traverse the battlefield at immense speed, striking enemy formations with relentless force. They could leap over terrain obstacles and defensive fortifications, closing the distance for brutal melee engagement. Assault squad size typically ranged from 5 to 10 Astartes. Heavy support squads were capable of annihilating hordes of enemy soldiers with devastating volleys and tore armored vehicles apart. While tanks and field artillery often surpassed them in range, firepower, and armor, heavy support squads possessed the tactical flexibility. They could spread out across the battlefield, take elevated positions to expand their field of fire, and maneuver through terrain where neither tanks or dreadnoughts could pass. Veteran squads, either assigned to or designated within a company, were composed of seasoned and battle-hardened warriors who had additional training in all aspects of warfare. Recon squads or scouts assigned to the company, as well as dreadnoughts, the company's command bodyguard, the standard bearer or standard bearer group, tech marines, and apothecaries. In some cases, specialized assault squads equipped with boarding shields and Astartes and Terminator armor could be assigned to the company. However, more commonly, such units were drawn from the ranks of the line Astartes squads, outfitted with tactical dreadnought armor, boarding shields, and other specialized weapons and gear to fulfill specific tasks designated by the company commander on the battlefield. Classic line companies from the Great Crusade era could number around 100 legionaries. However, this number reflects the most average values. As we can see, it all depended on the attached units and objectives. For example, a company of Space Marines left as a garrison on a conquered world could be much smaller than this number, deprived of specialized squads, armored vehicles, and other reinforcement groups due to the lack of necessity. The transport of a company typically included rhino transporters of various modifications, and heavily armored assault transports such as the Land Raider. The company could also be reinforced with tank units numbering up to a squadron, mobile field artillery, and rocket artillery support systems assigned to the company either on a permanent basis or from the Legion's armored and artillery divisions. For transportation and air support, the company could be equipped with assault landing ships like the Thunderhawk. Names of companies could vary across different legions: manipules, bands, brotherhoods, claws. 5 companies of Space Marines with a total strength of approximately 500 legionaries formed an organization called a battalion. In different legions, this could be referred to as Grand Company, Regiment, Cohort, Demi-Company, Combat Group. The first company of the battalion was primarily made up of veterans and other elite squads. The second, third, and fourth were standard line companies, while the fifth company was made up entirely of specialized units such as assault squads, motorcycle troops, or destroyer squads. However, in practice, many large legions often increased this number, forming battalions of 7 to 10 companies with a unique command structure. The battalion was typically commanded by a legionary with the rank of captain lieutenant, but could also be referred to as a commander, shadow captain, first captain, marshal, or legate. At this level of command, the leadership expanded, with the battalion acquiring its own consuls, auxiliaries as deputies, and so on, forming the headquarters and administrative organs of the battalion. The battalion also had its own sections of apothecarion, tech marine covenants, recon units, heavy armored vehicle divisions, artillery support units, dreadnought claws, and assault skimmer sections. It was equipped with light assault shuttle transports and drop pods. The battalion could also have at its disposal a strike cruiser with a crew of various types and modifications. Originally, 2 battalions of 500 Astartes were combined into a chapter, alternative names in different legions: Grand Battalion, Great Company, Horde, Harrows, Millennial. However, as the legions grew, their numbers began to vary significantly from one legion to another due to the war. The chapter was commanded by an Astartes with the rank of Lord Commander. In various legions, this title could also be known as Warforger, Master of the Order, Noyon Khan, or simply Master. Just like the organizational structure of the battalion, the chapter's command staff had its own consuls, auxiliaries, deputies, advisors, and a bodyguard detachment. Part of the chapter's combat assets could be battle barges, capital ships, planetary assault vessels, which were assigned to subordinates by the chapter's command during combat operations, escort squadrons, squadrons of assault shuttle ships, as well as armored divisions of the Legion and chapter's armory. The Space Marine chapters, or the Great Companies, consisting of more than 1,000 members, would then unite into a legion under the command of a Primarch. The Primarch would form the core command group of the legion, with mandatory Praetorian units serving as his personal bodyguards. Directly under the command of the legion's leadership, the following could be included: planetary holdings, capital-class warships, secondary escort squadrons, the Legion's armory, librarius, auxiliary forces, non-Space Marine units, and the Legion's support corps, quartermasters, servitors, and contract laborers. The size of the legions could reach up to 250,000 or more Astartes, not including auxiliary units and formations made up of regular troops. The structure outlined above represents a general organizational framework of the classic Legion, originating from the Unification era and eventually evolving into the chapter structure of the Adeptus Astartes during the second founding after the Horus Heresy. During the Great Crusade, especially during the Civil War, the structure of the legions and their command could vary greatly depending on the theater of war, the legion, and the personal preferences of the Primarch. In response to the current combat situation, the legion's divisions and command structure could differ significantly. Line companies, due to the assignment of various attachments and divisions, could number up to 1,000 legionaries. The first companies of the legion, often simply called the First Company, were typically considered the elite that the companies had to offer and had additional duties beyond combat, ranging from the personal guard of the Primarch, as seen with the Justarians and the Catulan Reavers of the Sons of Horus, to specialized policing functions like the First Terminator Company of the Atramenters in the 8th Legion, the Night Lords. It should also be noted that the Legion was never assembled in its entirety in one place. A portion of its forces was always dispersed among the expeditionary fleets of the Great Crusade, often joining vexellations from other legions. Detachments, companies, battalions, and even entire orders could be stationed as garrisons on Imperial worlds, ensuring the defense of the Emperor's newly claimed territories. Another portion remained on the Legion's home world, overseeing the training of new Space Marines, managing troop rotations, and maintaining security and defense. As a result, a legion could be spread across the galactic map, and the assembly of the entire legion could take a considerable amount of time. After the Civil War, known as the Horus Heresy, the legions were significantly reduced in size due to the massive loss of personnel, the destruction of their homeworlds, and a diminished influx of new recruits. The loss of advanced technologies further prolonged the training process, leading to a higher rate of rejection among recruits. The remaining elements of the legions were disbanded and reorganized into the second founding chapters in accordance with the Adeptus Astartes Codex, which had been developed by Robute Guilliman during the Heresy era. This codex established a standardized chapter size of 1,000 Space Marines, a structure that persisted into the 41st millennium with only minor variations.